All right, everyone. Welcome to another live training with Quick Turn Real Estate. I am your host, Art, and I will be doing our training tonight. And we got an exciting topic that we're going to be talking about. What I wish I knew as a beginner, why I wouldn't start with wholesaling and rentals as a real estate investment strategy. This is another less risky way to start in real estate and gain greater rewards. I'm going to start with this. I know a lot of you guys are probably interested in wholesaling real estate, especially if you're just starting out, because the logic is it's easy, it's fast, I can make some quick money. Well, I'm going to challenge that tonight, and I'm going to show you some alternatives to that. And those alternatives might make a lot of sense to you, might make something that you want to look at and hopefully make more money. So first thing I'm going to let you know, if you are new to the group, if you're new to the lives, then subscribe or join our group. Up in the corner, there is a QR code to join our free real estate investing group where we talk about real estate. We solve problems. We deal with deals. And we've had some really good success. We've had some people make a lot of money out of our group, and they joined and learned a lot for free. Then they got into a point where they started making some money and they grew their business even more. And that is my hope for all of you when we put this together. My goal is to help you make some money, help you grow in a business that you can sustain and live with, and hopefully you do well. Now, if you're new, there is a chat. You can always comment in the chat. Just say hello. Let me know you're on the call. I can answer questions about the live. Anything that comes up. Sometimes when I'm going through stuff, it might not make sense, especially if you're new to real estate. So might not be sure. But let's go ahead and get started. If you haven't followed us on social media, we're on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. We're on all that kind of stuff. So follow along, and you can get these free trainings and some of our past free trainings. We do them every Monday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. So you can join these lives. You'll get the notifications if you're in our live group. So that's another benefit. So let's go ahead and get into this and get started. First thing we're going to talk about. Ooh, did I join in the? Hold on, I didn't join in the Zoom. Let me open up the Zoom. I messed up and didn't open up the Zoom. All right, so we're going to get started in 1 second. Again, this is what I wish I knew as a beginner real estate investor. Let me get back to my screen. So this is what I knew as wish I knew as a beginning real estate investor. Got to excuse some of the technical stuff that comes up all the time. It's just part of the business. Give me 1 second. Let me pull my screen back up. All right, we're good to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to talk about a few different things, a few different ways to do this. Okay, so this will be beneficial to all of you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to talk about is today I'm going to show you how to start in real estate if you are new and don't want to mess up. So if you're new to real estate and don't want to mess up, this training is for you. This works if you have no experience. So even if you've never done any real estate transactions before, you've never bought something, you're just thinking about getting into it, this still works. This will help you if you hear a million pitches. If you got online. Oh, thank you, Legend. Okay, Legend. So this will help if you hear a million pitches. If you've heard a million pitches online and you've always kind of wondered what they're talking about, you're not really sure. This will help you narrow down those pitches, because one of the things that can get you into dangerous territory is when you turn around and get into stuff that you shouldn't be in. This will help you avoid mistakes. It's going to help you watch out for a lot of the mistakes that people commonly make when they get started, and hopefully you'll learn something. Most importantly, this will help you make more money. That is the goal with this training and the goal that we do on all these calls. So hopefully hope you make more money. So let's talk about who this is for. If you are in a financial rut or stuck in a dead-end job, this training will help you. If you are tired of hearing how everyone is making money in real estate but won't share how to start, so they're giving you all the juicy details except the ones that actually count, then this will help you. If you have excuses of why you can't start, this will help. For all of you all that are making excuses and every day there's one reason why you can't start or something else that's why you can't start, this will help you. Okay. If you take, so best thing to do with this is take notes, pay attention, and get ready to learn. Now, I've moved through this pretty fast. This is just a half-hour training. Again, I'm going to say, if you want more training like this, up in the corner, there's a QR code to join our free real estate group in Facebook and get a free invite to that. And you can learn a lot more in there as well. So, who are we? Me and my wife, my name's Art, my wife Aisha, we've been investors for 27 years. We literally started when we finished college. We were about 20 years old. We have done wholesaling, rental. We've done the BRRRR method, the buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. We've done that. We've done land deals. We've done tax liens. We've done foreclosure. We've done Section 8. And we've done a lot more. We've done a lot of stuff over our 27 years of investing. Tonight, I'm going to share why you should not start the way I did. I wish someone had been there to tell me what not to do when I started, because it would have made a world of difference in what we're doing now and how far we would have been. Would have been much further along. And that's the truth of the matter. Everybody's telling you how perfect they are as investors. We're all learning when we start in this journey, and every once in a while someone helps. So take help when you get it. If you listen to this, it will save you years and hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is my goal, that it will save you money off of all the stuff that you got to do and all the mistakes that you make. So this will help you make less mistakes. So why does how you start matter? Why does how you start in real estate matter? What do you waste? Let me tell you a story. Let's say you're driving down the street and there's a fork in the road and you're trying to get to your grandmother's house and you're just trying to figure out how to get there. And let me ask you, what do you waste if you go down the wrong road? So you choose the wrong fork in the road and you go left when you should have went right. What do you waste? And the answer is simply time. Okay. Now, does it matter how hard you work? If you drive faster, if you go speed up and go past the speed limit, it really doesn't matter how hard you work if you choose the wrong way to start. If you start off on the wrong road, it's going to give you trouble. Starting on the right strategy will give you more of the exact same thing, time. It'll give you more time to make better decisions. It'll give you more time to learn the process and get faster and better at it. After time, your biggest resource to help you be successful is usually money. The cash that you need to be successful, the cash that you need to grow your business. Once you get past time, which is a bigger resource, usually it's money. Following the strategy that we're going to lay out will save you time and help you make very good money. That is the goal of this whole thing. Okay, so let's talk about how most investors get started. What do most investors do when they get started? Most investors go to the biggest school in the country. I don't know if you all are aware, but the biggest school is YouTube University. That is where most people start with their real estate journey. At YouTube, you learn about wholesaling. And to start, you learn to start that because it doesn't cost much to get started. So everybody thinks that's a great way because it doesn't cost much. You also learn about rentals and Section 8. And because it's passive and it's something you can sit back and get armchair money where you don't have to do anything and you'll make really good money. So that's where a lot of people like to start. Or maybe you learned about remodeling houses because you want a big payday. So they told you to remodel houses and then you'd make really good money remodeling houses. And so that's where your logic is about how you're going to make money in real estate. Well, today we're going to break down all three of these and talk about them and see if there's a better alternative to these three. So what's wrong with starting with wholesaling? Let's talk about that. What appeals about wholesaling? What's appealing about it? Most people would say, if you want to answer in the comments, most people would say that it's easy, that it's cheap, that it's low risk, that I don't have to have a lot of money to start, those kind of things. Those are a lot of the reasons why most people would want to start with wholesaling. But let's talk about it. Wholesaling sounds great because it's cheap and low risk. You don't have to put up a lot of money. You don't have to put up a lot of a risk and borrow, go into a bunch of debt. So that appeals to a lot of people. But since it's cheap, the trade-off is it usually requires more manual labor. So if you've ever taken a course on wholesaling, they're usually telling you to find deals with driving for dollars, where you're driving around looking for abandoned properties or properties that look empty, or they're telling you to do something with cold calling. Maybe you're calling 300 or 400 people a day to ask them if they want to sell their house. And while these things can work, when you find a deal in wholesaling they tend to fall apart very easily. Now, this was my experience because what would happen normally with a wholesale deal is that you get it under contract and the person that's selling it is usually under some form of distress. So they'll say something like, they started and they're in foreclosure, or they've got tax liens or something like that, and they're under distress. And when you're under distress, you don't really care what happens. You just want to get out from the stress. And that's why a lot of those deals can fall apart, because the person can be flaky. They can find somebody else who will help them or maybe give them a little bit more money, and your deals tend to fall apart very easily. Now, the average wholesaler, and this is just a national average, closes about one deal for every 8 deals that they find and negotiate. So if you find it, so it takes you time to find a deal. You finally find a deal, you negotiate it, and you find one deal. That deal more than likely will fall apart, and it takes about 8 deals usually to get one closed deal. So that's where it's a lot of legwork, a lot of time with wholesaling. Even when you are successful, the reward is often very low with wholesaling. Now, for those of you that don't know, I didn't think about covering this, that don't know what wholesaling is. Wholesaling is when you go out and find a property. A lot of times the property is dilapidated or needs work or something like that. It's under distress, and you get it under contract to buy it at a certain amount. Then you turn around and sell that contract to another person, and then they buy the house and you just get the difference. So you might sell it for $50,000 more, or you might sell it for, let's say it's worth $100,000 now. You might sell it for 105 and you make 5,000, and they actually put up the money. So that's what wholesaling is. It sounds easy because you're just putting it under contract. You're not actually closing the property. Now, wholesale seems great, but takes a lot more effort, and many people quit before they ever do a deal. It's just the thing with wholesaling that because it takes so much legwork and you don't see a lot of success when you start, you get frustrated and you start thinking this doesn't work, and you give up before you ever get to your first deal. That's what a lot of people do. Okay. So let's look at an average wholesale deal and what that looks like, because everybody loves talking about wholesaling and how easy it is. You spend days, weeks, or even months cold calling. You're spending all this time cold calling or driving for dollars to try to find some deals. Then you have to skip trace the owners to find out who owns the vacant house that you found and all that kind of stuff. You start talking to distressed sellers on the phone, or you go visit them at the property. So you finally make contact with them. You go to the property, you say, hey, let's talk about buying the property, all this kind of stuff. You just go through a whole process. Okay. So you've gone through all of that. The next step is that you get something like this. This is how the property ends up coming out and what it looks like when you actually get the property. It needs a lot of work. Okay. And then from there, you get the property under contract. Hopefully you got it at a good price, because the risk is low because you can always just walk away from the deal. But that's not really the most ethical thing to do, because you can hurt the seller by walking away. They thought they were going to get a sale and you just walk away from the deal. But let's say, for argument's sake, and not to make this too complicated, you get a good price. You get the property at a good price. You have to build a buyer's list to sell to, cash buyers only. You have to find people that have cash that will be interested in buying the house. And you have to compile this list of investors and start talking to them. Next, you close, and you make on average anywhere between $5,000 and about $20,000 on your deal. That's about what the typical wholesaler will make when they do a deal. And that's great money. Especially if you've never done anything, to make $5,000 or $20,000 in a couple of months, that might be great money. Okay. Then from there, you finish and you start the entire process over again. I remember when I started as a wholesaler, and I went and put in all this legwork to find a property, and I finally got a property under contract, and I sold it. I sold the property, and I made my first deal $40,000. I made $40,000, which at the time was what I was making at my job. This was 20 years ago, but I was making this at my job, about $40,000. I immediately quit my job, and I did the most logical thing you could do, which is take my kids to Disney World, because I thought, hey, we made it. We just made my annual income in a couple of months, and I made it. The whole thing was, when we got back from Disney World, I realized I had to start all the way over again, and was literally starting from the very beginning. So it was just like starting over again and starting from scratch. The process of wholesale can take months for a single payday. That's the really big struggle with the wholesaling deal. It can take months for a single payday. Okay. Well, let's talk about fix and flips. Surely fix and flips are more profitable because you fix the property up, you do the renovation, and then you sell it and you make a big payday. That's what most people think. Well, let's talk about that. Remodeled houses have to be perfect to command the highest price. And a lot of times when you do a fix and flip, you pay a good number for the property, but your profit is all in how you fix that property up. So you have to get a high price for your property. And so the house has to be in pristine condition. Something like this. Beautiful house, completely remodeled. That's what it usually looks like. Remodeled houses have to pull permits, and all of that stuff takes time. Nothing wrong with pulling permits, but it just is a time consuming process, so it can be frustrating. Remodel house buyers have all the leverage. If you've ever tried to sell a remodel house, you are at the top of the market. So the only people that can look at your property are people that are top of market, not people that have the best credit, they have the most money down. Those are the people that are typically looking at your house. And because they have all of those things, they are kind of looking like, I got options. I can go to your house or the next house that's remodeled down the street. So you have to fight with them, and they have all the leverage. Remodeled house buyers can be picky. They will turn down a house for something very minor because of the fact that they have options. They can go to the next house, and they know that there's not as many people buying for that high priced house. So they know they can ask for things that they normally wouldn't ask for. I've seen it time and time again. It happened with us. Remodel houses are greatly affected by market change. So let me give you an example. You buy a house that you're going to remodel, and the market is doing great, and you're going to sell it for double what you bought it for. Even after you pay for the fix up, you're still going to make a nice profit. And it takes you a couple of months to do the fix up, and it surprisingly takes you more than you thought. And then what ends up happening with that is that you turn around and the market shifts while you're still doing the remodel. So now the market needs, it's not worth as much as you thought you were going to get. But hey, you got to finish because you got to try to make some profit and eke out your money that you put into the property. That's a big risk, because if that market shifts, which happens all the time, that the market shifts while you're finishing your rehab, you could end up losing money, and you did absolutely nothing wrong. Remodel houses need good contractors, and they cost money. If you have good contractors, they cost money. If you have cheap contractors, they don't cost as much, but then they trade off with costs with problems. They don't show up for work. Their car didn't start. They take some money and run off, or they take the money and go work on another job instead of working on your property. All kinds of issues that come up with fix and flips. Remodel houses are a risk trap for investors. I did remodel houses for a year or two, did not like it. We made a little bit of money, but not as much as we thought. So we got out of that business. Well, let's talk about the other one. What's wrong with doing rentals first? Why wouldn't you do rentals as you're starting in real estate? Rentals offer passive income, right? That's what everybody says. If you want passive income, then you go with rentals. Okay. Well, how much will a good average rental make you? Let's say in your market, because I don't know where you're at, I don't know your market, but let's say in your market, a good rental will make about $1,500 a month after profit, after expenses. Let's say after you pay the mortgage and everything you got to pay, you're going to make $1,500 a month. Sounds like a great deal. That comes out to about $17,000. No, $18,000 a year. Not bad. Okay. Well, let's look at it. Let's look at all the expenses. Subtract for evictions. Now, here's the thing. Evictions might not happen every year, but evictions will happen, and they can be quite costly. What about clean outs? And when you have to clean out a property after a tenant, or regular maintenance of taking care of the furnace and the central air and all the other things that go along with the house? What about arguments with tenants and vacancies? All of those things take time, take stress, they take money. They're all things that you have to deal with, and they're kind of shadow things you don't see. Okay. How many rentals will you need to make a reasonable income? Let's look at that. So if you make $1,500 a month, $1,500 a month in most cases isn't covering your annual income or your monthly bills. So you need multiple rentals, which multiplies your problems because you've had multiple rentals. Rentals take a lot to make good money, and problems expand as you grow. So that's one of the things that can be most frustrating. The problems expand as you grow. So as you get more rentals, you're going to have more tenants to argue with. You're going to have more toilets that break. You're going to have more evictions, more cleanouts. It's just a part of the business. When we started, we bought 36 rentals and we were tired and frustrated by the time we finished. So, but I know what you're thinking. I want passive income from rentals, and that's what I love. I've seen people that do Section 8, and I've seen people that do all kinds of creative ways to do passive income. Here's a secret. Rental houses aren't very passive. You must actively remodel the house, actively lease the house, actively make sure the tenants pay, actively chase down rents when they don't pay. You got to actively evict non-paying tenants, repair damaged units after eviction, and pay the mortgage when the unit is vacant. These are all things you have to do actively in a passive investment. And before you say, I'm just going to hire a property manager is paid on the income that the property makes. So if you're hiring a property manager, be prepared to make less money each month. And every time there's a problem, now you're going to pay a premium on that problem because you're going to have to pay to fix the problem, and you're going to have to pay the property manager to deal with that out of the ordinary problem. They charge you a la carte for all the things that happen in a regular month. This doesn't seem very passive to me. So let's talk about some alternatives. So here's secret number one that I wish I knew when I started in real estate, and it would have made a world of difference. Do something that makes enough cash. If I am going to spend my time doing real estate and all the stuff that goes along with it, I might as well do something that's going to make me enough cash. Now, if you got a comment about this or anything else, put it in the comments and I'll be happy to answer it or go over it. But do something that makes enough cash. Starting off, your strategy should build your cash first. If you're not building cash first, you're setting yourself up for problems because that cash is either going to come out of your savings or that cash is going to come out of your actual living expenses and detract from your life. So you want to start off with a business that can build your cash first. Building cash is better than securing financing or credit to grow your business. Now, if you're on social media or online, you've probably seen all kinds of things talking about, hey, get $100,000 line of credit, get financing for this with no credit or no issues. Just set up your LLC. Those things are all fine and they're all risky because you have to pay that money back. Why not build your cash and then use that as your investment capital? It's what's necessary for you to get tough, for you to be strong enough to deal with the ups and downs of the business, building up cash reserves. You can grow faster using profit instead of debt, less stressful, and you can grow faster. So profit is always first. I would choose profit over debt every time. We use the cash that we made in our process to hire help and give ourselves freedom. So we were able to free ourselves from being responsible for doing all the day-to-day work, and we only had to focus on the things that made us the most profit, okay? We don't waste time doing meaningless tasks. So we don't spend a lot of time swinging, in my opinion, swinging a hammer at a rehab is a meaningless task. Going to see tenants and checking on them and making sure the house, those are meaningless tasks. They don't actually, and when I say meaningless, of course they have value, but they don't make you any more money, if that makes sense. They're not making you any more money. When you go check on your rental, you're not making any more money. You're trying to protect your money. When you go swing a hammer and put in drywall and all that stuff, you're not making any more money. You're trying to realize the money that you have in the property. We quickly build cash reserves and we can defer taxes. So I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Secret number two, do something that is fast. Rentals, finding wholesale deals, rehabs, all take time. They all take time. They are not just something you can do and quickly turn around. We wanted something that could bring larger cash frequently. So we would have cash coming in, larger amounts of cash on a frequent basis. Buying and selling homes, which is what we do, is fast. We buy them, we don't fix them up, we don't renovate them, we don't rent them out. We buy them and sell them. The market doesn't get a chance to change. I like to say we buy a property on Friday, we sell it on Monday. We move property quickly. And because we move property quickly, markets don't change that fast. The market is not going to drop 20 points or 20% in a matter of days. It takes months and months to do that. So that's not something that we're affected by. You can do more than one once you get started. One of the beautiful things about our strategy is that because we're not fixing up property, we're not putting tenants in property, we can move quickly. We can do more than one property at the same time. In fact, in any given month, we usually have anywhere from 3 to 6 properties that we're selling at any given month, and we're constantly buying. It's a different business model. We're constantly buying, we're constantly selling. You can make larger amounts of cash to fund your business with profit. Again, funding your business with profit is much easier and much or less stressful than getting a bunch of debt or somebody convincing you to go get a LLC and put a bunch of debt on an LLC that you're ultimately going to be responsible for. Building your business with profit just makes more sense. Secret number 3, do something with less problems. Wholesales fall apart and require investor relationships that you may have to have or you may not have. Rentals don't make enough and constantly need support. Rehabs require time and money, and both of these are more risky. So time and money is putting yourself at risk, and rehabs require both of those. Quick turning, which is what we do, is a hybrid of large cash and less time. You can make larger amounts of cash and you can do it with less time and less work. Quick turning works even if you don't want to build a large business. Let's say you're older, you're approaching retirement. You don't want to build a huge business. You want to build a smaller business, something that you can make, $100,000 a year, and you can just use that money to live off of. You don't want a big business with a bunch of employees. Quick turning is perfect for that. We can run a full quick turn office with 1 to 2 remote employees, and we can do everything we need to do and have probably most of our day or most of our week free. We probably work, if we want to go at that pace, we're probably going to work about 3 hours a week with quick turn. 1 to 4 deals a year can make you 100,000 or more with quick turning, because you can consistently make money buying and selling properties without fix up and without doing any major repair or anything like that. And you're not dealing with tenants. Okay. Again, if you got questions, ask in the chat. I'll be happy to answer. So let's talk about, what is quick turn real estate? What is that exactly? Why should you consider doing quick turn real estate to help with retirement or building cash for yourself or whatever it is that you need? 1, quick turn has a fast turnaround. You're buying properties and selling them quickly. You are not holding on to them for long amounts of time. 2, they require minimum renovation. Usually, if we're doing any renovation, it's something that the city might have required when we sell the property. So we might have to go in and change the locks or fix a plumbing line or something like that, but it's minimum work. We are not doing renovations to make it look pretty. We're not doing expensive renovations. We're doing very minimal renovations just so we can sell the property. The other benefit is that you have the ability to do multiple deals simultaneously. So you can do more than one deal at a time, especially when you get this going. It's beautiful. There's nothing like having 2 closings to sell properties in the same months, and you're going to do 30,000 on one, 60,000 on the other. You're going to make 90,000 for the month, but you're still moving your business. You haven't stopped moving your business. It's a beautiful thing. It does not require massive time to work well. This is a business model that you can set up, and it does not require you to give all of your time for it to work. You can do it with minimal time and still have your life. The quick turn strategy from A to Z, I'm going to break it down for you really quickly. 1, find deals. Putting together a process that will consistently bring you deals that you're not looking for, but they're reaching out to you, and they're deals that you've already vetted. So every time your phone rings, it's a good deal coming to you, if that makes sense. 2 is negotiating those deals. Instead of going out to a property and meeting with the seller, we are going to negotiate every single deal over the phone. I can do my entire business from my desk. I don't have to go out. I don't have to go see properties, and I'm not putting myself at more risk. I can get everything I need to make a decision on a property very easily and very quickly. Okay, so that's another benefit. Let's keep going. Financing the deals. So with quick turn, we have one specific way that we finance deals. Well, we have 2 ways, but they're mainly 2 ways, the only 2 ways you finance deals. What's the benefit of having 2 ways to finance deals? I don't have to spend a bunch of time figuring out how I'm going to buy a property. I don't have to try all of these creative financing techniques. I don't have to jump all over the place trying to get an investor to buy the property for me. I can do everything myself and control the deal. And then the last step is exiting the deal. This is where most people struggle at, because they get a great deal with quick turn and then they want to keep the deal as a rental. It's not as profitable to keep it as a rental, and you'll see why in a second. It's just not as profitable. So let's talk about a couple of success stories, some people that have actually worked with us. 1, let's take Yolanda, for example. Yolanda did her first deal and she netted $130,000 on her deal with no cash out of her pocket. She was able to do 3 condominiums. She bought 3 condominiums from one seller. She sold off 2 of the condominiums to investors, and then she kept one for herself and was able to turn $130,000 profit. And she walked away with 130,000 cash. That is her first deal. Yolanda's been a real estate agent, but she started quick turning when she realized that she wanted more than just being an agent. And she did a great job on her first deal. She's now working on her next deal so she can get going again. Now, let me ask you, what could you do with an extra $130,000? Now, I don't know what you make right now, but I best believe that $130,000 on a single deal. And be clear, it took her 3 months to do this deal. It took her 3 months, and this wasn't the only deal she had in the pipeline. This was her first deal. So imagine doing that where you work for 3 months, and not only do you have a deal, but you've got multiple deals coming at you. And she was able to do that and make $130,000. Let's talk about our next student, Kyra. Kyra used our stuff and netted $50,000 on her first deal. She was able to make $50,000 on her first deal, and she did minimal work on the property. She did not go visit the property. She never saw the property with her own eyes, and she was able to net $50,000 on that deal. So she was able to do a great deal, quick turning, and she bought the property and quickly resold it. What about Lisa? Lisa is using our process, and she is set to make $100,000 on her first deal. Now, I know what you're thinking. Art, these numbers sound ridiculous. They are not ridiculous. These numbers are actual deals that these students. In fact, if you join the group, there's a QR code at the top. If you join the group, you can listen to the full interview with Yolanda in the group. You can listen to the story about Lisa and what she did in the group, and you can see from their own experiences what they've been able to do with using the quick turn process. Most importantly, with all of these ladies have more deals coming. They are not just doing one deal and they're done. They are building a business that can consistently make deals, if that makes sense to you guys. That's what you want. You want a business. You do not want to hustle. You don't want something that you do on the side. You want a business. If you decide to leave your job, that's your choice. If you decide to stay at your job and do this on the side, either way, you're in good shape. Let's talk about Alex. Alex found equity and it changed his life. So when one of the ways that we put together deals, we look for equity. So everybody looks for motivated sellers. They look for people that are motivated. We look for equity. That is our main focus. And Alex, we showed him how to find equity. Our student Alex was a contractor and he did rehab deals. He already had experience in real estate and he did rehab. So he would buy a property and fix it up and do a rehab. He always looked for property that needed work. That was his thing. He wanted to find a property that needed some work so he could fix it up. He was tired of swinging a hammer and was getting older. And he knew that he had only so much time before he would have to stop swinging a hammer. When he learned our process, it took some time because Alex wanted to continue to swing a hammer, but it was worth it. He finally got it. Once we got him to realize that he did not or should not swing a hammer on this house, he should just quick turn it, he was able to get going. His first deal led him to a profit of $72,000, and he didn't even visit the house. So he never visited the house, and he was able to turn a $72,000 profit. So that's just the realistic way of what his deal came to. Imagine going from spending months fixing up a house to never seeing it and making a profit. Alex was blown away when he did his quick turn deal, and he was thankful when everything was done. And that's what quick turn does. Now, what if I don't have a lot of cash? I'm going to talk to you about one of our other students, Sheila. Sheila was a student who learned how to find high profit deals through our process and got a great one. She got a great deal that she could put together. Okay, this is Sheila. She didn't have cash to close it, and she was prepared to walk away. She was about to walk away from a $100,000 deal because she did not have cash to close the deal. And so her logic was, what do I do? We introduced her to someone with cash and they did the deal and split it 50-50. Now, most of you all would have said, well, I'm just going to wholesale it. I'm going to wholesale the property. I won't make 100,000, but maybe I'll make 20,000. She's going to split the deal with the cash investor and she's going to make 50 and they're going to make 50. And the reason the cash investor is willing to do it is because of the quick turn process, because they're buying it and selling it. And then what happened was once they got the deal once they controlled the deal, her and the cash partner said, I really like this process. I'll fund the deals with you moving forward. You just find them and close them, and we'll quick turn everything. They're now working together to quick turn deals. She will make 50,000 and she didn't put up a single cent to do the deal. Does that sound interesting to you? So if you're thinking, I don't have the cash, I don't have the credit, you can still do this. So if you want help building a strategic quick term business like we're discussing in this, I am putting a link to a strategy call with us. What we do is we can do what's called a financing audit. We'll look at where you are. We'll look at the steps you need to qualify for a lender. We'll look at, even if you can't qualify, we have some options for you. We can show you how you can still do this, even if you don't have the credit to qualify. Even if we can't directly help you. So set up a call. Even if we can't directly help you, we may have resources that we can share with you so that you can get started. The most important thing you can do in this is get started. You can't do anything if you don't start. Okay. So set up a call. I put a link in the chat. I'll put a link under the replay of this video, and set up a call with us. And let's talk about how you can grow your business, how you can reach your financial goals by doing quick turn and not taking on all this responsibility of rental or wholesale. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to say. If you're still stuck and say, Art, I hear what you're saying, but I heard another guy or a woman that told me wholesaling was the way to go, or rentals are the way to go. You can still do rentals. You can still do wholesale. Do quick turn first, make some money, have a nest egg or a war chest of cash that you can use, and then you've got some backing behind you so you can do the deals that you want to do. You can do the quick turn deals, you can do the wholesale deals, you can do the rehab deals, you can do the rentals, whatever you want to do. Set up a call with us. Let's talk about where you want to be, what are your goals, and how we can help you get there. I hope this makes sense to you guys. I put a link in the chat that shows the link to set up a call with us. If you want to set up a call, click on the link and we'll be glad to set up a call. Join our free Facebook group. It's up here. If there's a QR code above some of the screens, if you're not in the group, you should see the QR code. If you're in the group, you probably won't see the QR code. But if you want to join the free group, learn about quick turn, learn about what we do, set up a call with us, and we'll be happy to help you get started in your real estate career. I hope you guys have gotten something from this call. I look forward to speaking with all of you and hopefully in a new call. And as always, before we sign off, as I say in every call, happy hunting. Hey guys, hope you had a great time.